team, and welcome back to the Kaisa Show. Team, I am so excited to just sit down and chat with you. I realize, Mike, I know I'm freestyling right now, but I realize how much I look forward to coming and just sitting down and having, these conversations with you, of course, Mike, but then also just having these conversations with the team. Maybe I just like to talk about my life.
Yeah, you like these conversations because they're not actual conversations. They're one-way conversations with the team.
It's about me. It's the only hour in my week that we just get to focus on me.
That's good. The Kaisa hour would also
hour.
be a good.
Yeah, no, this is the second hour because I have an hour of therapy. But you know, I was driving here this morning. My life is just chaotic as it is for everyone, and I was physically having the feeling of I'm really looking forward to this. I just feel like when I sit in this chair and this mic pulls up, I can just calm down and be present for this conversation. So thank you.
Hey,
welcome.
How are you? I'm good.
How are you doing?
You know, I'm all right. A shift. You know, Mercury is currently approaching retrograde.
Are you one of those?
No, I'm not. I just like to look for excuses when weird things are happening. Like, oh, that's what's going on. In fact, what I really want to do, I just want to learn zodiac signs, like when the dates are. So when someone goes, I'm like, when's your birthday? And they're like, May 12th. I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. Yeah. Classic Aquarius. Or I don't think that's probably the right one. It's not. But I want to be able to do that because people always do that to me.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're wow, Leo, totally. That's why we're friends.
Yeah, no, but it's true. Okay, I was laughing about Mercury in retrograde because I grew up, like, that is my mom. Like, that explains everything. Your, birth sign explains everything. I am a true Aquarius. You are a true Leo.
Total Leo.
He doesn't even know what that
Always
means.
have been.
Except he has a massive lion tatted on his thigh. So he is a Leo.
I am a Leo.
That's such a Leo move.
That is such a Leo.
You're so annoying. You know who else is a Leo is Boss, and he has that tatted on his thigh too. So
we're all the
Leos.
same. Yeah.
Leo's in the house. Okay, well, do you want to buzz off right now, or do you want to just catch up? Because I feel like you and I could catch up forever. So
and then buzz? No, let's buzz and then catch up.
Okay.
Yeah. That's better.
Okay, I'm gonna buzz first.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna freestyle a little bit.
Okay, I am too. So this is good. I mean, I know what I'm buzzing on, but it's not. I don't know how. It's a weird kind of one. So yeah, go.
Okay.
Let's see
I'm
where it
gonna
goes.
double buzz only because neither one of the buzzes are that epic, but they're just two things that have brought a lot of joy into my life this past week. Not a lot, but I'm looking for ways to stay entertained.
Yeah.
That's the theme of my month. I learned how to play pinochle. So
oh my God, I thought you were going to say the piano. I was like, holy shit, that's impressive. Like in this last week, pinochle. I don't even know what pinochle is.
Pinochle is impressive too. My grandparents used to play it. My dad taught it to me finally. It's a very complicated card game. I am a gamer, team. I'm going to let you in. Not a video gamer, but I am a gamer. And I learned how to play pinochle, and I am obsessed. Like, I just think about who wants to play pinochle with me.
You have like new pinochle like lenses where you just that's perfect.
No one wants to play. It's not a game people really play. But
is it just with cards?
Yeah, it's a card game, but you have to have a pinochle deck. And it's kind of a complicated, it's a dual phase card game, and you're keeping points. So it's really fun. It's not.
What is dual phased?
It means there's phase 1 in Pinochle, and you're gathering, it's very hard to explain, but you're gathering basically certain cards, and then that phase 1 ends, and then phase 2 starts, and then you compile all the points that you got from those 2 phases, and then you're trying to get to 1,000 points.
Got it.
But it's sometimes with games, because I'm such a gamer, sometimes with games, it's annoying if it's just the luck of a draw in game. That kind of game is like, come on, you just got lucky.
Yeah.
You don't just get really lucky. In Pinochle, you have to think about what you're doing. So I really enjoy that. Okay. Minor buzz. Loving the podcast, How I Built This.
Oh.
I listened to it a while ago, and then I don't know how I kind of, maybe I just listened to it too much. And I'm back on it, and Guy is a little dry. He's the host of the podcast.
Is it, it's not the guy, This American Life guy, is it? Totally different guy.
Oh, I don't know.
Ira Glass or whatever, or a different guy?
No, his name is Guy.
Oh, his name is Guy.
Yeah, his name is Guy.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And I just love the podcast.
Is it all on business?
It's basically how people built their companies.
Yeah.
So
I need to listen to that too.
I really enjoy it. I enjoy the ins and outs of the of everyone's story and just how different everyone's story is. Like right now I'm listening to, I think her name is Sarah Krause, who created the Swell bottle, the water bottle that we all see.
Which is that?
You would totally recognize it because it's knocked off everywhere. It's this sleek looking water bottle. I have a few, comes in cool colors.
Kind of looks like a flower vase.
Maybe, yes.
And it has like is it metal?
Metal top.
With
Yeah,
the metal
totally.
top. Got it.
But just like now you see them everywhere. And her whole idea was, I have always been about using non-plastic reusable bottles. And then also she was like, I just really like business and I hated my accounting job and I wanted to do something different. And it's just fascinating to think about people's thought process. It's also amazing to listen to people's stories and realize how many times they failed to get to that product. I mean, we see Swell now and it's everywhere and it's like $100 million brand and you just think, oh, she just overnight success. And it was 10 years in the making, and it's a lot of fail, and it's a lot of people not believing in you. And maybe just because I'm at that place in my life, but I was like, this is such an awesome podcast. Like, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out. I've kind of been looking for some more podcasts lately. I'm opening up my doors because I just been listening to like Rich Roll for a long time, many years, and his guests have been really good, but I feel like as of late, like I haven't, it's a little bit more hit or miss. So I started listening to Gabby Reese.
Yeah.
We're trying to put energy out there.
Oh, we are. I didn't want to take that away from you, but just everyone, can we just pause for 1 second?
Can everyone just take a breath?
Can you all envision me,
Kaisa,
sitting on the Gabby Reese show?
Yeah, we're trying to get Kaisa on the Gabby Reese show. I think it's going to happen. I feel pretty good about it.
Okay. Can I hijack your thing right now?
I haven't started
now
anything.
that I'm asking everyone to visualize for me. So yesterday, the Jordan brand announced a Peloton instructor as their new brand ambassador. Shout out to Jess Sims.
Wow.
Peloton
is just pulling it out. Wow.
I had a full FOMO moment. I just sat there and I was like, why is that not me?
Yeah.
Like, why am I not a Jordan brand athlete yet? And then I was like, Kaisa, don't fucking complain about shit. Go get it.
Yeah.
So I just, if
Did
people.
you DM Jess Sims?
No.
You should.
Like,
hit her up.
Yeah.
See, maybe she wants to bring you in on a shoot or something.
Yeah. But more so, I'm just saying, team, if you're thinking about visualizing.
Okay. More visualization. This is another practice. I didn't realize. Here we go.
This is the Kaisa hour. If you are visualizing me right now being on the Gabby Reese, could you also visualize me suited and booted in Jordan gear, because I'm also a new Jordan athlete? Yeah.
Now, is it more the credibility or the paycheck?
No, I don't even care about the paycheck.
Here's the thing then.
Just want the gear.
I have this idea. Why do we wait to get like official contracts to be in like, why don't we just go get a pair of Jordans, put them on, do a cool photo shoot, and just say, super stoked to be a new Jordan ambassador? Who would doubt that that's real?
Everyone.
Would they really?
The moment Jordan comments, this is
they
false
wouldn't
news.
comment. Who you
No,
you think it would get flagged?
That would feel so not authentic.
Here's another benefit of this. Maybe you're not on Jordan's radar, so it gets reported. Whoa, that's crazy, Jordan. I'm just gonna, because I don't know who that person is, because it's not Michael Jordan. No. And they're like, that's so dope that you guys are working with Kaisa. I've been following her since her early days. And then they're like, what the fuck? And then they're going to go, who the fuck is Kaisa? And then they go over there and like, oh shit, Kaisa's dope. Oh shit, Kaisa already did a photo shoot? Yeah, let's sign her. Let's do a lower entry level contract to start.
Let's just give her one pair
But get her in the door. I'm just saying.
No.
Fake it till you make it.
No, totally. I do think that is something, it's more to serve me. And I'm not trying to fake it to the world. I personally want to know that I am truly a Jordan brand ambassador. And again, this is not like, it's not that I'm waiting for the right amount of money. I am just waiting for the call.
Okay. All right. So put that energy out there.
Two things.
So Gabby Reese.
Little
MJ.
MJ.
Okay, we can make it happen. But yeah, so podcasts.
Yeah, sorry.
I've been enjoying Gabby. The thing I like about her podcast is it's very just like, it's super loose. Like it's very, most of them are remote interviews. In fact, I don't know if other than her husband, Laird, who was on, I think, it was in person. I hope. It seemed like it was. But everyone's remote. It's just very kind of casual. She's very direct in business and not like fluffy with like, she's just very down to earth. Someone will go on this long diatribe on science and she'll go like, so what you're basically saying is like we should like ice and breathe for at least like 3 days a week. Kind of like you kind of do this too. It's a good... Like, let's bring it back to the people listening here who aren't scientists. Yeah. Right?
To what most of us can understand.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, I've been really liking her podcast. But then other than that, I kind of I search around and it's hard to find, I don't know, I find it challenging. So how I built this feels right up my alley.
Yeah. And it's just kind of annoying to spend like 10 plus minutes trying to find a podcast when now I'm halfway to where I wanted to go, because I listen to them when I'm driving.
Totally. And there's no like trailers, you can't like test, like with a movie or a show, you're like, oh, this looks good. Like it's filmed well. Here we got another buzz.
Yes.
What's the third buzz?
I have a bone to pick.
Oh, God.
Are you a part of the team that said Top Gun was epic?
Yeah.
Oh.
You didn't like it.
My gosh. I thought it was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Wow.
My dad and he was so excited to watch it. Now, granted, I hadn't seen the original Top Gun, so he had to fill me in on it. But everyone was saying like,
if you haven't filmed,
no, because I had my dad. My dad was a fan of the original Top Gun.
Did he not like it either?
No, he was so disappointed. We almost stopped it partway through, but we watched the whole thing. The only thing that was cool was the actual flight scenes.
Yeah,
the movie was epic failure. Do not watch it.
Wow. Disagree. The thing is, you went in with expectations. I went in with no expectations. Just like, this is just going to be a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's not supposed to be
with the worst acting in the entire world. Like, put a little bit more effort into the plot line. We literally called every single thing that was going to happen.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be unpredictable. It's not like some like wild, interesting. All right,
terrible.
Everyone gets their opinion, so you get one too. I highly recommend still watching it, team, if you want to watch some fun.
Waste of time.
Lots of like throwbacks to the original Top Gun, and a lot of people who didn't watch that first one and then watch the second one are mad that they didn't understand the, those like inside jokes and
no,
little
Dad explained
homages,
them all to me.
Yeah. Anyways. So, but thanks for bringing that up. You're coming with energy this. I really appreciate it actually because I'm pretty low. I'm feeling a little low on energy.
Oh no!
And I feel like you have filled. I'm starting to feel a little bit the energy flowing my way. Okay, so I appreciate it.
Maybe it's the C4.
Yeah, it could be that too. Podcast, blah blah blah. My buzz. Easy now, easy girl. Bring it back. And
that just sums us up.
There we go.
Like, Kaisa, wait, me. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah. And then I just keep interrupting you.
That's fine. I mean, it's TKS.
Sorry.
It's not TKMS.
Oh, that hurts.
But, so the buzz, I just kind of keep getting these other ideas I want to say, but we'll start with my buzz. My buzz is I am buzzing on budgeting.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's the antithesis of Kaisa. No, but like, here's the thing. I watched this movie the other night, which, so I follow this guy, Mr. Money Mustache, and he's like his whole thing is like, retire early, right? Like that's his whole thing. And there's a whole movement around this. I didn't make the right moves in my like 20s and 30s, nor did I make enough money to like retire early. But there's still a lot of these like principles. And I think I've been feeling this for a while around like emotional spending, not even like I'm sad, I'm going to buy a pair of clothes, more of just the emotion of thinking things are going to change you when you buy them. And so, because I think a lot of people think of, I'm not an emotional spender. And they think because it's not like you're crying or you're mad and then you buy something. It's not like, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's also just like thinking this supplement is going to make you lose your belly fat, or thinking these jeans are going to make you get a job, or, that's how I'm very guilty of that.
Oh, we all are.
Yeah. And so I've been feeling it for a good 6 months, like kind of knowing that I'm doing it and going like, damn, like, but I have enough money to sort of like, I'm not like broke. So like I can do a few things and it doesn't like, I'm not missing the mortgage payment or something like that. But then I'm also like, why are we not saving that much money right now? Like, we eventually want to buy a house or whatever. And I watched this movie, and it was really cool because it took 5 different, I think it was called Smart Money or something is the documentary. It's done pretty well.
And I want to watch this.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the reason why it's interesting is because they take 5 different people with 5 different like money managing gurus, for lack of a better term. And so one is an NFL player who's kind of struggling. I forget what his name, Tay or something like that. Anyways, he's like a cornerback and had all this promise and then went to the NFL and like got injured. Still has like a decent amount of money, but like not enough to sustain if he doesn't play football, for instance, right? So this guy's working with him to be like, okay, what do we need to do with your money so that if you don't play football anymore, in a couple of years, how are you going to make it? Because what else are you going to do? Like you're not going to go out and get some finance job or some other job. Like you didn't even finish college because you went straight to the NFL. So they have that, right? Then there's the person who makes like minimum wage, just paycheck to paycheck, doesn't have health care. There's a person for that. Then there's like the family of 4 where the wife is the sole provider, husband stay-at-home dad, wife makes like $300,000 a year. But they kind of...
Are you telling us... Can we just have cliff notes? You're literally giving us inside scoop. Yeah.
There it is. Okay. There it was. Yeah. I thought you were interested. My reading is off today. Anyways, I got too excited. So I guess my buzz is more the movie. Anyways, it goes into all these great details.
No, team, what? Only because what I want to know is less about the movie. We all know now. We wrote it down. We're going to watch it. I want to know I want to know your experience.
What I pulled out.
What you pulled from it. Yeah.
I pulled out that same like age-old fun thing to say, like failing to plan is planning to fail. Ooh. Because if you just get your money every month and you just, you pay the things you have to pay and then you just leave everything else kind of floaty, you're not allocating anything, right? So it's just going to float around. Oh, I have money to go out to eat. Oh, I have money to buy these little things, blah, blah, blah. I get paid in a few more weeks. Cool, I'm good. But what is interesting is when you start allocating chunks of money before you're spending. So it's like I'm saving for this new motorcycle or this house or my kid's college fund. Like every time you get paid, boom, they all go organized into these categories. And then what's left over, you can budget a million different ways. But for me, what I was realizing is like, I definitely can be not buying crap on Amazon for one thing. Like, or doing like, say, a month, like where I once a month buy something from Amazon. And it's like I like everything comes together. Then I'm really seeing that cart. Oh, it's just cart's $700. Do I really need all this shit? Maybe not. You start.
Or if you have a fund, because I know a few people that do this well, this is what I spend each month.
Exactly.
And if I really want that, $200 thing, that's fine. It just is pulled from what I can spend. So then you can kind of value.
Totally. Food, same thing. So like restaurant, here's my going out to eat fund. Here's my grocery shopping fund, all these things. And it's kind of like, it's a little annoying, I guess, or it could be perceived as annoying. But I also think like it could be really kind of fun because you're gamifying your money.
And stress reducing. Mm-hmm. I would put so much money on the fact that one of the top stressors for the majority of people is money.
Absolutely.
Because we don't ever really, we know that we should be doing the thing to manage it. So you know what? I'm going to take back my womp. That was rude. That was like not okay. Because that is totally a stress thing for me too. I don't probably manage it as best I could. Yeah. I don't do things. And then you just think, oh, it's fine. It's going to take care of itself. It won't. But it also brings to the fact we should fucking be learning about money
100%
at an early age.
And that's what they bring up in this movie too, that it's like the number one, I forget what the stat sort of was, but essentially it's like the thing that like depresses people, ruins lives, and is the most powerful thing you're ever going to like, come into contact with. And we have zero mandatory education around it other than like balancing your checkbook or something like that in high school, which they probably don't even do anymore. Because who has a checkbook?
Yeah, who has a checkbook? Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's interesting, and I think that it's also the other thing that was enlightening is like you can make more money every month. Sure, there are definitely ways you can make more money. Most people, though, you're only going to get a raise like once a year, right? So you don't have, unless you're an entrepreneur, unless you're like a gig worker or something like that, you can't just go make more money. But you can look at how to save more money or like stop spending as much money. That can make a direct impact to tomorrow.
And that saved money can go somewhere that makes you more money.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So There's some good. I don't know. I'm finding like an excitement around it. I think it also just gave me a more optimistic outlook because everything feels pessimistic lately with housing is too expensive. Inflation is at an all-time high. It just, everything's sort of in a negative light. And I think that this movie and this direction I'm feeling feels more optimistic of like, you do have more control. Quit buying shit. And I'm not saying everybody out there is buying shit like I am or wasting money, but I'm definitely wasting money. Like, you don't need to.
Yeah. I also just think there's something that it feels good to kind of dig yourself out of the hole or like know that you're doing the things that you should be doing because it starts to reduce the stress and it moves things in a positive direction for money management, hopefully saving and everything else. Yeah. But it's like this overarching conversation. It always comes back to do the things that you know you should do. Do the things that stress you out. Like money stresses almost probably all of us out. Yeah. Just take one proactive step to start dealing with that. Yeah. And you feel totally different.
And the longer you wait, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not
like it's just going to get worse. Yeah. And so I'm going to stop investing in crypto.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't invest that much, but I have for years, like a small amount. And it's like, for one, it's just crashing over and over, which is fine. Like, I'm in for the long haul, but it's also way more volatile. Like, I should be if I'm going to be doing monthly investment, I should definitely be doing first in something that is more consistent, and stable.
Yeah.
So there's like definitely we all want that quick hit of like,
lottery ticket.
It's everything. Like, change this thing about yourself or your situation tomorrow. And if it takes longer than for tomorrow, just keep trying for those tomorrow hits for your whole life. And you're probably never going to change.
Totally. So. No, absolutely. And also, I think there's something to be said about living within your budget because we also always believe that more money makes you happier. And until you get to the point where you realize maybe you do have to make a little bit more money to realize it doesn't because there's more stresses and everything else. But if you figure out how you can live within your means and less stress makes you happier.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Totally. And I'm tired of rich people saying that like more money doesn't make you happy. It's annoying to me because I think I get it, but I think more money definitely, I think there's a point.
There's a line.
Where you make a certain amount and then it does, like if you make another 100 grand on top of that or 500 grand or whatever, nothing's changing for you. But I will say, I believe that there's a certain amount of money that buys you a certain amount of freedom.
Amen.
And I think the freedom aspect is something that, I mean, I wish everybody had that opportunity to have a freedom to go, I can take a month or two off from this work that I'm doing right now because I don't know if this is actually what I want to do, and have like a intention around it versus being forced to just be in it.
Or just pay for basic needs.
That
you know what
too,
I mean? I think we're at so yes, I didn't mean to sound like that. I'm just saying what I was trying to say was just if you can start to figure out how you can live within the money that you make, and then have that be a far less stressful thing because you're within this boundary rather than knowing that you're not, and that's a constant stressor in your life to be overspending or anything else. But yes, money is an issue. Most people don't make enough, and then it's very easy to say when you make enough to say, oh, it doesn't make you happier. No.
Yeah.
Buying my house made me happier.
Totally.
Period.
Yeah. There's a new stress there's
another stress.
Yeah. What I was going to say is there's less stress around, say, finding it. And when you have a house, for instance, like you have leverage.
Absolutely.
That's a huge thing.
And you have peace of mind knowing that you have a roof over you. Yeah, absolutely. I did not.
Yeah. I wasn't saying you were. I'm just, it's like you always hear on podcasts, like, well, I'll tell you right now, when I was making $5 million, but that's because what you were doing, you weren't happy.
Yeah.
You were making more money. That might have been a happier piece. But what you were doing, you weren't happy. I get that. But it's just so easy. Everyone's like, oh, money doesn't matter. It does. In this country, it definitely matters.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any fucking social support for anything, like healthcare, anything, anyways.
Yeah. No, amen. That's true, though.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Whoa. Right. Bird walk. Bugs.
We should have a money person on the podcast. That would be money.
That would be money.
Do you know any?
I think the thing is you have to figure out because it just can't be anybody. They have to be able to talk about it in like a style that I understand.
But
There's
I
a
would
lot of
imagine,
money.
don't you think most would? Because they're talking to people that they have to convince people to put
I
them.
have a money person in my mind that wouldn't.
That wouldn't. Okay.
No.
Okay.
So not most would.
Yeah, we should look into that. That'd be fun. Team, if you want to hear somebody on the podcast talk about money, I think it'd be so helpful for like trainers thinking around
It'd be so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. Putting it out there.
Shout out to the Luca mobility recovery episodes that we filmed.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a shout out to you. I really felt like the training wheels came off and you glided on your own. I didn't have to like say anything.
Really?
You were just you had your notes. I feel like your host capabilities really got professional.
Cry.
You kept Luca in line. Luca worked with you. You guys both met in the middle. I feel like we had really good conversation. I think there was a lot of takeaways.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hope,
Team, Mike doesn't give out compliments, so this is a major moment. Let me just sip my...
I definitely give out compliments, but to people
No,
who deserve
not unless
them.
you mean them.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, yay.
No, I'm not a
I
fluffer.
lose it. People don't even care about my compliments anymore. 'Cause I'm just like, yay.
Yeah. Well, and then I know once they leave the room, then you're like, Jesus, finally.
That is not true. I'm mainly talking about my compliments to you.
Oh, yeah. So I wouldn't hear that part. But the curtain shuts. Jesus, finally he's out of here.
No, that's not true. But
All
thank
right.
you. I really appreciate that. If you have not listened to that episode, team, or episodes, it's a 2-part. I took away so much great info.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we both walked away with one thing that we were doing. Let me think about the one thing
Mine was cool down.
Cool
and I
down.
cooled down on, I don't even know what day today is, Thursday. I cooled down. I think I worked out on Tuesday, and I almost walked out of the garage. And then I go, I got to do my 5-minute cool down. I just did like a pigeon stretch on, for both hips. That was kind of it.
Yeah.
But I did it for 5 minutes, just let myself,
It's the intention.
the breath go down. I was trying to
Calibrate?
No, reach my homeostasis is what Luca liked to say.
Yeah.
Threw a lot of fun words out there.
He did.
Mitochondria. I remember that one. I don't know. Still don't know what it means. I remember like cell biology. There's a little cell and things happen around the mitochondria. I don't know what it is.
Like all the spindles. And
Yeah. Something. But what was yours? I thought yours was cool down.
No, I mean, I was kind of adding on. I did do that last time I was with him, but I haven't moved in a little while, going to be honest. So I haven't done a cool down. So
Okay.
I haven't even done a warm up. But mine was adding protein.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. I've been kind of doing that too.
I'm glad you've been doing things.
Oh,
good.
you haven't?
No,
Yeah.
I've been a failure student right now.
So what I need to do is calculate, what do you think is, like, say in a chicken breast, is it like 25, 30 grams of protein?
Whoa, that much?
It's a lot. Hold on. Because,
Google it.
yeah, let's just see.
Yeah, because
Chicken.
actually I'm curious because I eat 3 eggs a lot for breakfast. So maybe I do, but
Oh, yeah, protein content. Okay, let's see what it says. Because I'm pretty sure it's fairly high. But I was just thinking around, okay, Luca was saying 120 minimum,
yeah.
120 grams of protein minimum.
Yeah.
Or if you're more than that, it was like a gram per body weight, right? So I'm like
Yes.
190-ish. So like 190 grams. Oh my God, a chicken breast has 43 grams
Oh.
of protein. That's a lot.
I
don't know if I
would have failed that question.
Yeah. So if you had, so I started with like a scoop of Thorn recovery. I've been trying to do that in the morning. I ran out though, so I need to buy more, but that's 20-ish grams. So if you do 20 and then one before bed, that's 40. You do 2 chicken breasts. What are we at? Like that's only 120.
Yeah,
now.
I can't eat chicken breast like that. So that's
No,
where
I'm
I
just thinking
failed.
of, but like if you eat a steak or a chicken,
Yeah.
eggs are only like, I think they're 10 grams or something.
Per egg.
Yeah,
So
they're
I
not
eat 3
that.
eggs each time.
You eat 3, you're a 3-egger.
Yeah, and if I
Let's
eat
see.
4, it's a problem. I'm just a 3-egg person.
Oh, that's right. Wait, I thought you couldn't eat eggs.
No, if I eat 4 eggs, I'm not kidding you. This is how fragile she is. If I eat 4 eggs,
It's
massive
game
problem.
over. Yeah,
3 eggs, not a problem.
you're in good shape.
But like egg salad sandwiches are my favorite thing. So sometimes I will, I could eat egg salad sandwich.
how do you know that there's not?
Well, I learned a lesson. I used to make a bunch of egg salad.
Now you have to make it in 3-egg
Yes.
Tupperware
Yes.
portions.
No, I have to only make it a little bit at a
6
time.
grams of protein in an egg.
Per
That's
egg.
it. So when you're doing 3, that's only 18. Yeah. That's not that much.
Good.
So now I'm kind of like,
scoop of protein. He was right.
Dude, you need a lot of, if that, you know, which I've heard that too.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, wow, I don't know if I am having enough protein.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. I know that for sure.
That's hard. But then, I mean, there's a little protein in like nuts and milks and all those things. But it does, I don't know, it probably adds up, but not that. If you're going for 190 grams of protein a day,
yeah,
I might need to start doing 2 scoops.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do a scoop and a half of the Thorn when I do it.
Scoop and a half, okay.
And you know what's really good? Pro tip. I put iced coffee in it now.
Oh, that's bomb, yeah.
And a little bit of cream and just ice and shake that bad boy up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Where are we going today?
God,
Since the show is basically just a What's Buzzin' show.
Yeah, well, I was just, you know, here we are. It's September, guys. I think when this goes out, it'll be end of September because we're a few weeks ahead.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling? How are you feeling about like end of summer? I know you're kind of in this like, the end of summer is not timed great with all the things that are going on in your life.
No. I also just don't like this time of year.
Yeah.
I basically only like the summer. And then I like towards the
Really?
end of the spring because it's leading to the summer.
Okay, so you're definitely a summer girl.
Oh, I'm summer.
It's weird. I normally, like this year more than ever, and I think it's just every year now. I get older, I want it more. But I was like hurting for the sun. I just need the sun. It needs to get sunny here. I need to feel that. I need to not worry about weather, rain, anything. But it was like a few weeks ago, I was like, I hit it. Like I got my summer. I feel good. I'm ready for crispy nights. I mean, I would take the summer.
You were going to say I'm ready for Christmas.
Christmas,
like,
no. I'm not a big like holiday guy. It's kind of just too much stress. But
I still think I get the stress and anxiety of thinking I have to go back to school. Honestly, like I think that's what, if I try to think about why September starts to stress me out, because I already start to get it in August. I think, oh my gosh, this is starting to end. I really think it's school.
Interesting.
Because September months, like in Seattle, are still beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Like I went for a little walk this morning, and it was brisk. I had to have a little long sleeve on, you know, but it's nice.
It's nice, yeah. I also don't love that days are getting shorter.
Yeah,
there's just a lot about it that I don't love. It's definitely getting darker faster.
That's the thing here. It's like now when I get up at like 6. It's still dark.
It's still dark, yeah.
You know, and it's just gonna get darker. I know. And then October, it's dark at like 4:30, 5.
I know. See, that's not what I enjoy.
I don't enjoy that either. So winter's coming. Darkness is upon us.
Winter is coming, and since I'm watching Game of Thrones,
it's perfect.
Did you throw that in there just for me?
Yeah, I've done that twice now, I think. Because you buzzed on that like a month ago.
I love it. I'm on season 5.
It's good. It's good.
Well, that is something to look forward to. Bundled up, watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's fun. So how do you stay motivated when it's dark? Like, what do you have any tactics? Do you use like a light? What is those little light thing
like
where you
like
sit
a daylight?
Where you sit
I used to
in front
have that
of it.
in high
Did you?
school. Oh yeah. I mean,
because you're
depression.
sad. Seasonal affectional disorder.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's very real.
No, I know.
Yeah.
My dad.
I think sometimes I like to plan certain things that I can look forward to. I know that sounds a little grim. So I was just hanging out with my friend and we were just trying to plan not like a massive vacation to Cabo or something. Just, can we go to Whidbey Island for a little weekend? Just things to look forward to. I also schedule out things and just make sure that I'm staying along my schedule. When things get hard for me, or, you know, the season, I already know I don't enjoy fall, winter. So I just kind of like find my schedule and find my groove and just try to stick with it. I don't think I do a lot of intentional things I don't like get ready for hibernation or anything.
Yeah. How do you stay? So I guess you don't move outside all that much.
No.
So you're not like an outside mover. So it doesn't affect you that way.
But we just talked about track club that we've been doing.
Yeah.
We're going to go inside and start playing maybe some tennis or some pickleball. So just like switch things up. The Pro Club or the Bellevue Club or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So actually, that's a good point. Community.
Yeah.
I do think that's very important to me. And the older I get, the more I realize, and I know you're going to laugh at me, but because I'm still single, it's really important to plan things with your friends because even though I have a big family, my family all has families, you know? So it's important to me that I create my little group of people that I hang out with and it's good energy, and that I have those that kind of carry me throughout the weeks and months.
Yeah.
So
that's
and
great.
I get recharged being around people.
Yeah.
So that's important for me. Yeah. What about you?
I don't really get recharged. I get recharged if I really like the people.
Oh.
But if it's if there's any small talk involved or anything like that, that's just it's not. So a lot of holiday stuff isn't my buzz because it's just, there's so much. So what are you doing? How have you been for the last year? I haven't talked to you since last year. And then now with COVID, it's like I haven't seen some people for 3 years, you know? How many people died, got married, had a baby, you know? Like there's a lot of probably big things that have happened in the last 3 years. So not a huge fan, but now with a kid, it changes because River loves Halloween. He loves Christmas. So that's kind of fun. It allows
that does
me
bring joy.
Yeah. And to see him excited about it.
Yeah, that's fun. When the girls, like my nieces, get dressed up or they're excited about presents, or then it brings me joy for Christmas to go shopping.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that part. We just we bought it, but we don't have it yet, a Peloton tread.
Oh, I can't wait for it.
Yeah. So that's going to be nice because we did do a lot of walking and running and being outside this year. And, when it's super cold and dark and wet in the morning, I'm probably not going to go do a mile or two walk.
No.
So hopping on the tread for a half hour, and
are
just
you and
moving.
Priya going to have to rock, paper, scissors?
No, because we have the bike. So it's whoever, you just switch, be on the bike, do a little low impact pedal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. We use the bike still all the time, So we're an at home. I'm thinking about getting a sauna. This is all going on this budget thing though. Now I've got to be I can't be buying this crap. Do you need a sauna?
Yes.
If you look at Luca's big rocks, medium rocks, pebbles, is a sauna pebble? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably a pebble.
It's pebble.
It's not a pebble in the price.
No,
it's
God.
It's like granite.
Oh, it's
so
it's like marble.
I did have a dream though that Patrick just gave me because we in our studio here we share it with some yoga friends and they have a sauna in here and I talked to him about it and he was like, oh yeah, he's like, man, do you want it? And I had this dream last night that he just gave it to me.
Wait, so it was him saying, do you want it in your dream or in real life?
No, so he said in real life. I've talked to both of them now. So I'm negotiating on both sides.
Oh, wow.
No price yet, but just throwing it out there. Hey, if you guys are just leaving that thing in here, I got a home for it. You know?
Can pay me to take it out of here.
Yeah. I'll get it out.
House.
I'll help you out. But then I had a dream last night that he was just like, you should just have it. It's just sitting here anyways. And I was like,
so
nice. You're
manifesting too. We have a lot of, this is the manifestation podcast.
It is.
So is there a price that you would pay for?
I don't want to put that out in real life because what if...
Just sign me the number.
I mean, look, it's a nice sauna. $1,000. Oh. I mean, it's like a $4,000 sauna, I think. I don't know. They're expensive, but I will say I started looking on OfferUp and Craigslist. There actually is quite a few now for $1,000 or less. I think what's happened is we're getting that post-COVID
people are trying to get rid of
thing where people bought so much stuff for the house and then now they're like, what the hell do we have a sauna in here for? We haven't used it and it's holding our laundry. And
there you go.
Now they need to get rid of it. So that motorcycles are coming down in price.
Still on that.
Oh yeah, I know. All right, we're not gonna keep going on that one. But yeah, anyways, I don't even know how we just got on sauna. Pebbles, winter. So yes, winter would be nice to have a sauna. It would be nice. So
I don't know how we actually got there.
Dude, we're everywhere. But let's switch gears because we're just gonna do this full catch up forever. Let's add a little mustard. I thought
that was so good. Have you been waiting?
No, that was
4 months for that one.
You can't call them out because then they make me feel like then I go, no, I just freestyled that, which I did. But it's not going to sound like everyone's be like, oh my God, this guy prepares these dad jokes for this. They're just, you just got to say,
they're
that's
off
good,
the cuff.
Mike,
that was good, but it just was so good. It sounded like you've been waiting.
Yeah, the ketchup. Now we got the mustard. So the mustard is, I just want to talk a little about coaching. Mm-hmm. So I think the big thing that, well, let's start with what Kaisa thinks defines a good coach.
And okay, wow.
We're just hopping in.
Gosh, we are.
We just jumped off.
Okay, team.
Otherwise, we're just gonna stay.
I know,
it's
we're
gonna be too long.
lollygaggers. So, and do you mean in terms of personal training? Or
Let's
life
go.
coaching,
Let's start
or?
with fitness.
Yeah.
Since that's like your angle. Let's like, what do you think makes a good coach? If you were gonna like hire a coach, what are you looking for in a coach?
That you care.
You care, okay. For the results or for...
No, that you just care about the human being.
Gotcha.
Human beings or the human being that you're coaching. I think that's actually not, that seems like that would be a given. It's actually not a given. I think a lot of times the coaching industry is huge and there's a bunch of different avenues that you can go, but it also seems to feel sometimes like it's one of those industries where it's like, would the word transient industry make sense? Where people kind of come in and go out. So they don't really care about what they're doing. People come into it, think they're going to make a little bit of money and then hop out to the next thing that they're going to do. And so that's just like number one criteria is that you care that you have human beings' lives in your hands for that 30 minutes, hour, whatever, when you're coaching. That's really important. Two, that you're knowledgeable. I think you don't need to be overly knowledgeable because we've talked about this a lot, but I think because there are so many different facets of what it means to be a coach, maybe you're a Group X instructor, maybe you're a coach that specializes in recovery, maybe you're a strength coach. There's a bunch of different things. You don't have to know everything, but you have to know what you are trying to teach to your clients. You have to know that in and out.
How do you think what is a good path to figure that out?
Experience. Honestly, experience. Because the industry is so huge, I think most people, getting certified, like me getting NASM certified was just step one of a million steps to figure out. The only one thing I had was that I enjoyed teaching people how to move and I liked working with humans. Other than that, I didn't know. And until I went back to school and thought maybe I want to be a strength coach or did a lot of classes and thought, I want to do boot camps. I didn't know until I experienced that what I actually wanted to do. And I think it's hard. I was pretty bold and fearless in those decisions. I didn't have a family or anything else to take care of. It was just me, so I could be risky and go back and take out loans and do all that. But I really just think you have to go through those steps to figure out what lights you up. Because the thing about training and any other industry in which you're working with human beings, if you do not enjoy what you're doing, it's a massive energy zapper. If you do not enjoy working with those human beings in those hours, it becomes a suck and you cannot sustain that. So you have to figure out. The burnout will be so real if you do not figure out what brings you joy in terms of what you do training wise. I think the other thing, and this is kind of a broader one, I think you have to be willing to do some deep work on yourself. Because as a trainer, you have to understand that time you spend with the client is really about them and you can't bring your own shit into that. And so, I think for me, I was fortunate to realize at a young age, even though I had a lot of my shit, I really respected that the time I was spending with my clients was solely their time. One, it was absolutely unacceptable in my gym that I was in to have a phone anywhere on the floor. Like now when I see that, it's so cringy to me. And I understand that, trainers could say, I'm just filming them or this and that. But that was absolutely unacceptable. I was not doing anything other than spending time with those clients.
That's good.
And I think now we just don't respect clients' times and they also don't know what they deserve. So they don't demand that. But just being in this industry now and watching how people operate, that's a rarity that someone spends that sole hour or whatever with you and attention spent on you. Yeah, honestly, maybe that goes number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I think, don't be scanning Instagram while you're supposed to be watching my form, but I bet that happens all the time. In
every single gym with every, it is culturally acceptable now. And I think, thank goodness for where I grew up as a trainer, it was absolutely not okay. Yeah. We didn't have social media at the time, but there was Not a single phone on the floor. There was you were not talking really to other trainers unless I was saying, hey Mo, like, can I use that space? Like, we were not, I was fully engaged in my client at that time.
How do you think it differs from online coach versus in-person coach?
It's two different worlds.
Yeah.
You know, that's like saying, how is Group X instructor different than a strength coach? Literally, basically not even, no apples to apples there. It's completely different. So online, the thing about online is that you have to know your shit so well that you can coach it when someone's not there. Mm-hmm. You can know the cues. You can know what they're going to probably be doing. You know, you can know how to adjust their form because you've coached it so much in real life that you just know what people do when they do that move. So you can make the adjustments. And I guess there are a bunch of different online coaches, but for me, when I think about online, I think about doing, you know, tutorials or videos. The other thing is you have to have a personality.
Yeah.
And you have to have a personality that translates well on camera. Some very amazing and intelligent coaches in real life who are very compassionate and empathetic and can like read human beings and just do so well in person doesn't mean they're going to do very well on camera. I mean, we've seen it a lot. You know, we run a business that's on camera filming and it's just not the same. I think you also have to work on your craft in both respective industries, even though it's the same industry, but both respective places a lot because there's so much competition now. Mm-hmm. So much competition is the hot thing to be a trainer, to run your own business, to do it online or to do it in person in a studio you own. Like that is the thing right now.
And it's really easy to make it look like you're crushing it on Instagram.
Yeah.
You show a studio space, you know, at the studio, and then you show a camera filming you and you're like, just recording some new content. Nobody's buying it. Yeah. You know, like it's just such a funny, I wonder how much work is going into the show of it versus just do it. Probably, I would assume.
Majority.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when people say, you know, when a major question we get from up and coming trainers is, should I spend time and energy building a social media? Mm-hmm. And it's a very hard question to answer because I'm coming from a different perspective, but I say you should spend most of your time and energy on your craft.
Yeah.
And you should figure out how to be the best trainer you can be. You should figure out what you're going to specialize in. You should figure out where you can go and do your internships and learn, you know, have a mentor and learn from other trainers in the industry. You should just go and figure yourself out in this space before you try to cultivate a personality on social media that most likely isn't you yet because you don't know who you are. And then also people can read through the bullshit. So at some point in time, it's smoke and mirrors. You've spent all that time, energy, and money building that up for what? It's not fucking easy to sell online. Okay, let me just burst that bubble.
Yeah.
I have 1 million followers on social media, on Instagram. I have 1.5 million on Facebook. It is fucking hard work. That's the misconception, is that, oh, you just have that. You can put anything out you want and it just sells. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's so much competition. You know, those social media, Facebook, they want you to pay for advertisement now. They hold shit back. You have those followers, barely any of them see it. Like, it's not easy, team. So
that is so important for people to hear, I think, because I would assume anybody listening would feel if they got 1 million followers, life would be totally different. And it's not. It's still not easy at all. The grind is way real.
Oh, it's way harder. Way harder. And maybe if you had 1 million on a different platform, but I'm just saying Facebook and, you know, probably even TikTok and Instagram right now, those are saturated platforms. They're controlled. Well, TikTok's not controlled by Facebook, but they watch what you do. You put a little money to an advertisement. Now they know you pay for shit. Like it's a controlled environment that leads to not a lot of success. And I think, and I don't want to deter you because I think they're just still amazing and you can build your brand and you can do that. And you can learn a lot about yourself when you're forced to kind of create on social and figure out what makes you tick. But again, that's not the golden ticket. The golden ticket isn't to work 5 years to get 1 million followers and then everything works. Like, that's just not it at all.
Yeah. How much do you feel like humility we'll just ask that question, like humility plays in with coaching?
I mean, I think humility is everything, like in real life as well. So in coaching, absolutely.
And I guess to preface it, it's like, Do you need to know everything?
No. And that's the thing. Like, I can only come from my experience, but I blossomed as a trainer when I just honed in on what I thought I was good at, what I knew I was good at, and then let go of the rest. And I don't mean let go like I never went to conferences again or anything else, but I just started to really put energy into what I was good at. And I knew, because I was training mainly women at the time, those middle-aged women really enjoyed my cheerleading, loud, positive spirit. They enjoyed that the entire hour they were there with me, that I was asking the questions, that I remembered about their life, that I was like supportive. They remembered that I made movement fun and it was a safe environment, that I was really good at adjusting things. So everyone, my whole goal was that when you came and you trained with me, when you walked out, you felt more empowered. So for like movements, I was really good on the fly. If Mary wasn't getting the squat that day, we just moved on to something else. Like my whole goal wasn't that they were the most perfect movers. My goal was that they just started to feel empowered in their body and who they were. And I think that's really an important thing, because a lot of trainers train so that other trainers can see what they're doing.
Totally.
A lot of trainers forget that it's really about your client and what your client's going through in that time and what your client needs. And it's not about what other people are thinking of you. It's not about, am I doing the coolest thing? And I really had to let go of that. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, I was in an environment at Zoom where we had some badass trainers, and I was always thinking like, they're going to be looking at me and like, oh my gosh, Mary's knee is caving in right now. They're going to think I'm not correcting and I'm not knowing. And then I just had to be like, you know what? This isn't about them. This is about Mary and I. And I've already given her 3 corrections right now. And I know she's not hurting herself. And I'm just going to let her do this, because you know what? She's going to walk out of here so much more confident if I don't keep beating it over that she's doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not adding weight to it. I'm not putting her in danger. And that's when I started to be like, okay, all right, here's my groove. And when you're in that space, I know it sounds corny, but like when you're in a space of being like, I am comfortable and confident in who I am, when you get to like have that energy out there, you're giving that energy to them as well. And I think that's an important thing that trainers often forget, is whatever space you're in, like your clients pick up on that as well. And like, don't make that a toxic space, make that a positive space, make it a space that's all about them. And also, sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Where do people get an hour within their day or their week that is solely dedicated to them? Besides possibly therapy, and maybe if you have a partner that really loves to know what you're doing, so every day when you come home, they sit down for an hour and ask. It's so rare, but it is life-changing. It is so transformational that someone gets an hour a week or several times a week that someone else, aka the trainer, just cares about them, remembers what they're going through, almost like parents them in that moment. And I know it's life-changing because I saw the changes in all of the women I was training, and I feel the changes in terms of when I get coached. So you kind of we started with humility, but it almost sounds like, at least what I was grabbing, is that focus on what's being done right. Like, put a lot of effort into letting clients know what they're doing well, and then coach them on the things they might not be doing well, but not, because I think it's easy to just be like, oh yeah, you got to do this. Nope, you're still doing that. You're doing this, you're doing that. That doesn't seem. No, I had a rule. My rule was, the squat's a really easy one, but my rule was, if they were doing a movement and in 2 cues, I couldn't get them to adjust, we moved on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or I set up a different environment. And I figured it out. That's the other thing. You have to be a fucking good trainer to know how to adjust things. That's why education is everything. Like, you have to know, if I knew I wanted them to get into a squat pattern and, squatting down wasn't working, like, I had to make it so that I figured out how to get that pattern in a different movement. Like, you have to know what you're doing. I never want it to sound like you don't need education. You need to know it actually so much that you can break it down to the most simplest format. And that's really where I feel like trainers, you have to go get the education, do the things, so that you can come back and be like, okay, now that I have all that, I have all these tools in my tool belt, what are the things that I really find the most joy in and that I excel at? And then you can run towards those. Yeah, and going back to the education, like, just because you went to the thing once, like I started training these 2 gals, and
I kind of like, I didn't go in. I went into it with the first one of, okay, we just need to like assess, see where you're at. And then like this morning, I was going back into like my handbook for Strong First stuff of going, okay, cool. Like, oh yeah, their hips, we need to work on that. We're not quite at the swing. What do we do? What are some helpful hints? Oh yeah, these 3 things. I forgot about those 3 things.
Yeah.
You know, it's all spelled out. And a lot of times I think we believe once we've learned it, it's just there. But you got to go back.
You got to go back all the time.
Yeah.
And while you're saying this, it reminds me also, you got to know when to let go. You know, there's certain things that as a trainer, you have to know what your bubble is. Like most of us as trainers are not dietitians. Most of us as trainers are not physical therapists. You have to know when your client deserves better or needs something different that's other than what you can offer. And so that was another thing as a trainer, like have a network. Have a network of people that you can send your clients to, because ultimately at the end of the day, if your client feels like you keep them as top priority and that no matter what, you're taking care of them, they'll always come back to you. And they will also tell their friends about you. And that's ultimately what you want. So I think if you're a trainer in person, you have to have clear boundaries of what you deal with. And then you have to have a network of who you pass off to.
I think online too. I think
online as well, yes.
Yeah, and I think like to shorten that, it's like be a good resource.
Yes.
Like be a place for people to go to not only hire you for your thing, but you're an educational person or you're a knowledgeable person to direct people in all the ways. I mean, within obviously like
Absolutely.
Health and wellness, if that's your shtick, but.
Yeah. And then just own who you are. I went to school for social work. I wanted to be, in that field. And what that meant to me was that I really wanted to work with human beings. And so I knew that it took me a while, but I knew that that was my gift in training. And there are some trainers who are very technical and just like very intelligent and, adjust minor things. And then you're going to find human beings that really appreciate that, So it's just figure out what makes you tick, figure out what lights you up, and then own it because that's what's going to be able to translate to your clients.
Yeah, it's hard. Do you feel like most clients, I mean, this is a broad question, expect a personal trainer to know recovery, nutrition, weight loss, strength, conditioning, like all the things, right?
1,000%.
Yeah. So
you have to educate them.
And what would be, let's just say a scenario.
Well, number one thing is most clients that come into the gym and they're paying, an expensive fee, they assume that you know everything about food. So that was an easy thing for me. I just knew right away. It made me so uncomfortable. I'm a terrible liar. It made me really uncomfortable to talk about things that I wasn't educated in. And so I was just like, nope, I don't deal with diet. I don't deal with anything nutrition related, but I have so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. So I knew I had to have a network. And so that was like really important to me. That was my boundary there. It wasn't so easy in training because I did still think I needed to know everything, but I also learned to build up my confidence enough that when a client asked me something or why we were doing something, I wasn't shattered and then I didn't have to make up a story. Yeah. I could actually just say, you know what? That's actually a really good question. I don't know, but I have tons of resources. And like Joe was one of our head trainers. I was like, I'm going to go ask Joe and I'll get back to you. And the relationship building that happened, that the next time they came to their training session, I was like, you know what? This and this is why. Here's another thing that we're going to do instead. That was more impactful than lying in that moment and trying to cover my ass. Like you're still dealing with human beings at the end of the day.
That's the humility aspect. I think that's so key. Like you don't have to know it all and it's a disservice to act like you do.
Yeah.
And I think you actually build way more trust
1,000%.
when you admit that you don't know it all, but you're determined to find out. Like I want to know that answer too. That's a great question.
Yeah. And when you want the best for people, that just always surpasses and translates into something positive. You know what I mean? It's like that surpasses any awkward moment. Believe me, hello team. I had a million of those because there were times when I thought, especially as a younger trainer, I thought I needed to know everything. And then I was just petrified and be like, oh, and I'd kind of make up something, whatever it was. We've all been there and done that. But I started to remember when I got confident, and when I got confident, it wasn't until I did so much education that I was like, there's no fucking more education that I can do to keep, I'm not getting confident doing that. I've got to switch my lanes here. But then you start to develop a completely different relationship with people when you're like, oh my gosh, Mary's on my mind today. She was a real client. Shout out to Mary. Love her. Mary, you know what? I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were just doing you were just, I didn't know if you were like talking to Mary
Sorry,
right now.
I wasn't talking. I hope Mary's doing amazing. She's probably still there deadlifting records. No, but just, you just get to say, I don't know, because that in real life, you would appreciate that in any other instance of life is, I don't know, but I'm going to get back to you.
Yeah. Who likes a know-it-all? Nobody likes a know-it-all.
Yeah.
Because there is no way to know it all.
Yeah.
And it comes off as like you don't know.
Yeah.
And you're trying to cover it up to act like you do know.
Yeah.
Which then dissolves any trust.
Yeah.
It's just not a good.
It's not a good situation. So trainers, you don't have to know everything, but you also have to, it's going to be some awkward moments. You have to educate your clients that you don't know everything because there's this false representation that a trainer is also your dietitian, your therapist, your PT, all these things. No, you're not a physical therapist. Like your parameters are here. You shouldn't be diagnosing anything. Like you haven't done any scans, you haven't done any tests. Like you're not qualified for that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I find it overwhelming with kind of like there's so many different avenues in fitness now. I mean, there's so many. And even like, FRC, I believe. What's the FRS and like the kin stretch and all that stuff. That now looks as if it's its own practice.
It is.
And then I'm like, whoa.
People go to Hunter just to do that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hunter Fitness.
How often are you doing that? How do you add that into the training? I mean, it's like it almost gets to the point where, okay, look, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to move for a few days a week because you want to start moving and feeling a little bit better in your body? We can do that. You're not a professional athlete. Your 7 days a week isn't going to be booked with 2-a-days or, each day there's some high demand effort in a different style of training to optimize yourself, but it feels like the messaging is that we all need to be doing.
Yeah, because here's the thing, team. All these companies are companies. They're trying to make it sound like this is the one thing that you should do. That's the one thing that they believe in. But the reality of it, there are certain things that work for certain human beings. Most general population, if you break down movement to that minute of a detail, will not enjoy the movement. Therefore, they will not come back to do the movement. So you really have to understand who you're trying to, why you're getting educated that and where you're trying to apply it. And I think that's really important. If you are a trainer that works with high-end athletes and going into those certifications, because they're amazing, like learning full range and control in that motion, like, hello, I'm a firm believer in mobility. Like that's a lot of that is controlled range of motion. You are going to benefit your high-level athletes, but they're already bought in to changing the minute details of their body. So it's going to work for them.
Yeah.
Everyone else, most people are not bought into that. They don't really care if you say, I'm fucking telling you that in a year doing these small little movements, you're going to feel a world difference. They actually don't care.
Yeah.
They want to know what's going to change next week. You got to do something different with them. You can start sneaking it in, but you got to do something different.
Yeah.
So it's you also as a trainer have to know the population that you're coaching and know what they're going to be bought into. Because you're also running a business. You have to sell yourself.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you could be the best trainer in the world, but you don't know how to apply that into an hour-long training session because you're applying maybe your knowledge to the wrong human, and you're not going to sell sessions, and you're not going to have a successful business. You're going to be the most intelligent person sitting there, but you don't have any clients.
Yeah. That's like the art field too, is like you can be the best of the best, but if people don't buy your shit because it's like not out there, or you're not, like it doesn't exist.
Or maybe you just enjoy education and then you train other trainers.
Yeah.
Or you become a writer, or like, there's a lot of other things that you can do, but just, this is why I say it's really important for you to start figuring out who you are.
Yeah.
And what makes you tick, rather than trying to allow everything to define you, because you have to know, ultimately, to be connected enough with yourself that this is what works for me. This is why I enjoy training. You could train a handful of different populations, but you have to kind of know that. When I went back to school and I started training athletes, it was abundantly clear to me that environment was not something that I enjoyed. And it made it even more clear that what I did enjoy was general population.
Yeah. And by knowing that, it's just, you can run that
Change
through your filter all the time.
The time.
I probably don't need to go to like 10 more seminars. I probably just need to go coach more.
Or I probably need to work on my self-confidence. I need to go actually to therapy because why am I so not confident? Why am I so qualified and not confident?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I'm dealing with right now in a different aspect of my life that says more about me than any certification, that I get could help me with. And so that's the thing about training. We're in one of these industries where you constantly have to look in the mirror and self-reflect. And if you don't, it ain't good.
Yeah.
Like you're in front of people 24/7. Don't bring your shit to them. So maybe in your network, also get a therapist
Yeah.
for yourself.
So sometimes I feel like, well, actually here, one, before we move on from that, when you're coaching online, do you have, I'm trying to picture do you picture someone at the camera, like moving with you, are you talking, or do you picture an audience?
I picture a whole team.
A whole team.
I've trained enough group sessions, like boot camps. I mean, even with Fitbit, I got to train 1,000+ people in a room. So I know general cueing enough for that. When I'm filming, like for Get Strong, I'm thinking about a whole crew of people doing it. So I'm thinking of a wide range of people and some general cueings and like what we need. And I'm also pulling the motivation from there. I am the most hyped in a group class that.
Okay.
And so that's the energy that I want to bring to those workouts, those online workouts.
That's cool. Do you kind of like, when you're teaching, are you like, okay, I see that person over there, I'm going to cue to that person? Or is it just more of like feeling the group energy and knowing?
That's a good question. I'm going to have to pull back. I don't think of individual people when I'm coaching. Because it's set up that I'm actually doing the class with people, I'm experiencing the movements. So I already know what things are feeling like. So I can hone in on that and I can relate to where people are at. I also have taught for so many years in person that I know on a squat, there's a few reminders that people need. When I know on a press, there's a few reminders. I also have spent so many years testing cues. That's the other thing. Like one of the best things that Pete ever said to me, the head guy at Zoom, was it is your fucking job to learn how to speak 1,000 different languages.
Totally.
If you say wear your knees, or get your knees out and it doesn't work for somebody to align their knees, it's your job to say it in a different way. And having to build up that vocabulary helps so much for online coaching. Because let's say it's let's say it's 4 sets. I want them to do the same adjustment, and in each set I say it differently. So by the time that you get there, you've made that adjustment. I've said it slightly differently.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, which I think that can come from taking classes too, like seeing what other people are saying, get your language. Like you don't have to come up with it all on your own. There's no trademarks on how to cue a squat. Like find out how do other people cue squats?
Actually, so this is a great point. If you are an online coach, I take online classes a lot. Like I'll go through them because I study what I enjoyed in that moment, what helped me, where the coach was at, what they said, what I didn't like, how they cued things. Like I'm studying my craft. That is very important. Like you definitely have to you got to check your ego a lot. And honestly, I think that's a really important lesson for me too. It'd be easy to say like, oh, I'm the head of Just Move. I have a big platform there. I'm good enough. Like, no, that's a constant thing for me of like, I want to be an expert student. Yeah. I want to continuously be getting better. When I ask a lot of my family and friends to do the workouts, I'm not saying I don't need you don't need to like pat me on the back. I actually need like 1 or 2 pieces of feedback back from how you could adjust things.
Yeah,
like
what's not working.
Know that you can constantly get better, because ultimately at the end of the day, my goal is for people to have the best experience when they're moving with me, rather than for me to just feel like I'm a good coach.
Yeah, which then brings it back to that humility. Like you're staying open to not being a know-it-all. Like you're not filming a class and being like, cool, that's it, and I don't want any feedback. Like it is what it is. It's great. Like you're answering voicemails and DMs and emails around questions that are coming up around whether it's Get Strong or whatever program, and being like, oh shit, great point, didn't think of that. Maybe we can change that. Maybe I can clarify that.
Literally that happened yesterday. Like people are DMing me, and now if you DM me, which I love, normally I write back, and now I realize I can audio text you back, so don't be creeped out.
Which is your favorite thing.
It's my And now, but like that happens on Instagram. So now I can just audio text and I can chat with you all. So I was chatting with someone that was doing the program and I was asking her feedback and her experience. And she gave me a few pointers and I was like, this is amazing. And those are noted. And then when I go back to teach a class, I remember what she said and then I make those adjustments. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't mean this to sound like crazy, but like I'm a vessel for people to have the best experience. And it's not about me. Like that's really not, I'm not there so that I can get the glory of what's happening. At the end of the day, I want those people that are taking the classes or that I'm training with to have the best experience they possibly can and to walk away from that session and say, I actually feel better about myself, or like, oh, that felt good in my body. I don't want you to walk away and feel like shit. And I've learned that over years and years and years. And I guess humility is the word, but you have to know that you always have something to learn in this industry. You always have a way to get better.
Yeah. I like humility because everyone wants to say vulnerability. And when anybody says vulnerability, they just want to get all emotional. And I don't think humility has to be emotional. Humility is just admitting that you don't know. Like I don't know the real definition, but like to me, it's letting a guard down of that you know everything. Like you're willing to say, I was wrong, I had it wrong, I'm open to change. Vulnerability, it's like everyone just like, oh, I'm feeling my feels, and I think it's different.
But that brings up a good point of, I think that our industry is so full of egos because most people are trying to hide behind the fact that they actually are so insecure about what they don't know. Because our industry doesn't have a lot of criterias. You can get certified. I didn't have to go. I have a degree in social work. I mean, I went back and got my master's in sports performance, but I had a degree in social work. And then I was qualified after I passed a test from reading a book to coach individuals. Yeah. That is nerve-wracking. The only way you get through that is if you build some type of ego. But as you're building that ego and then you're practicing and you're getting better at your training, you got to start lowering that. You got to know that you don't know everything, and that's okay. But I think in our industry, we're so full of egos because underneath it all, people feel so insecure about who they are, their lack of knowledge, why they're actually there and what they're doing. And I feel that, I feel that deeply. I've been there. I still am there sometimes, but
I'm there.
Yeah.
You're calling me out.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No, I'm feeling all that. Even when you were like, no, you need to take these people on that reached out to me. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not. You're like, you're certified in both like NASM and Strong First. Like you are capable. But it's like, oh, and then I don't want to show up with an ego to just be like, all right, here's how to do it. Because like, I don't know. Like I need to learn what language you two need to hear for it to make sense. I need to figure out where you're at with things. And it is scary.
It's so scary. But the number one thing I can tell you is you will not get better until you practice. And then just set up some like very detailed boundaries and parameters for yourself. The best thing I possibly did was know this is how I take somebody from this to this to this. I didn't do anything funky and crazy in the beginning for years. I just was like this, and this, and then good attitude. You know what I mean? And cheerleader and positive, and make sure you remember things about themselves. If let's say, we're just talking about Mary, let's say Mary had told me something, I would, in the card that I was keeping track of all of her movement, I would write like, remember Mary just had an important job interview and she just told you she was like stressed about this thing she has to do. Then when I see Mary on Thursday or next week, I just like look at that. I have my notes. I'm like, Mary, how'd it go? Those are the things that matter.
That's
like
the personal side of training.
That's the personal side. And that's the thing, depending on who you're training, because I will say sometimes with like athletes and this and that, maybe it's not so important. But with the ladies that you're training, that's what matters. Show up in the boundaries that you're most comfortable and confident. You feel pretty comfortable and confident in basic lifting and in kettlebells. Only teach them that. Do a handful of the warm-up moves, the mobility-wise, that you're comfortable and confident in. And then just know that the fact that they spent an hour with Mike, who had a positive attitude and kept them in a safe space, they're going to have a better day. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have a better week and a better month and a better life. That's your job. Stay in those boundaries.
I'm going to do that. Thanks, Coach.
Also, this is another key thing I loved. When I wanted to do something fun at the end and I wanted to like test and have a little bit more creativity, I put finishers in. And this is when I was like, you know what? Okay, I can program with what I'm really good at, especially like strength, and we're really thoughtful about how they warmed up. I was thoughtful but simple about how they trained in their strength. And then I had a little bit of fun. And in my finisher, I said, your only goal in the finisher is for them to have fun and get their heart rate up. And that was my goal. I was very clear about my goal there. Maybe it wasn't the smartest like finisher, whatever, but I was like, that's the goal in that last 10 minutes. Okay, cool. And then I just had those boundaries for myself.
What's a good finisher? I'm just I'm gonna take one because I'm gonna do this. I'm training them tomorrow.
So
I'm gonna do this.
Like we would do like Tabata things depending on what their workout was. Like if they were doing a strength workout, and of course everyone wants to end feeling like, okay, I got my heart rate up, I'm sweaty, and we did things. This was in Smart Training in person when we did them in groups. So it would be like, I would set up little stations. So it'd be like rope slams for 20 seconds. You have 20-second break to shift around the circle. Med ball slams for 20 seconds. Shift around the circle. Hold the plank for 20 seconds. Shift around the circle. Kettlebell swings for 20 seconds. We're going to go 4 times through that. All right, team, go. And then you just end in this. And somebody could say, that wasn't smart for you to do a slam and then another slam back to back. And I'd be like, you know what, though? That wasn't my goal. My goal was for me to get their heart rate up and for them to end their session in a positive, sweaty demeanor. So what I said to myself is, somebody asked me why I was doing it, I had an answer.
Yeah.
Wouldn't always maybe be the most perfect, correct answer, but I fucking knew why I was doing it. I was intentional about what I was doing. And I spent so much extra time, energy, and effort preparing myself for each session because I did not want to come ill prepared. I knew my confidence lacked when I showed up and I was like, oh fuck, I don't even know what I'm doing with Mary today. No, I was fucking staying up late. I was waking up early. I had every program written. It was very clear. I was not doing anything outside of my comfort zone after a few years of realizing I could stay simple. And that's what I did. And I fucking owned that lane. And then I owned, like, I have good energy and they're going to enjoy this.
That's good.
This
is good for me.
Yay!
I'm like, that's like selfish.
It's so good. And I think a good thing for you is just stay in the lanes that you're comfortable in coaching, and then just have some fun with your movement at the end. And then know, if I said, Mike, why are you doing that? If your answer was, I just really wanted them to get sweaty and I wanted their heart rate to get up, and that's why. And I'd be like, that's a great answer. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Fun. I'm going to add a finisher.
Do it. It's just, there's this mental thing that goes along when someone's like, okay, like they'll do all the more important, sometimes basic work if they know that the last part of their workout, they always get this thing and then they get to leave on that like endorphin high. And
That's fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to add? I feel like this is good, fun.
I love this. Yeah. I feel like I have a lot that I'd love to chat with trainers about, but I don't know until there's questions. So it just always brings it back. Like, team, if you're a coach, if you're a trainer, if you're up and coming, or if you've been there forever, like, reach out.
What we should do is we'll make a call right now, but we should also just put out on social, like, let's do a listener question episode geared back towards trainers, because we haven't really done that specific in a minute.
Yeah.
And that'd be cool. Like, what are your trainer questions? What are your coach questions? Like, that would be a really fun.
I would love that. Yeah. And they could be anything. Like, they can run the gamut. I might have an answer. I might not. I definitely have been in this industry long enough to like have probably some experience on certain things, but I don't really know where to guide. I don't know what to talk about until people hit me. Yeah. Okay. So go to KaisaFit.com/ask. Please leave your questions. They can be simple. It doesn't have to be like some elaborate thing.
Ideally, you're a trainer or want to get into training. Yeah. I think we're going to be specific with this ask. I mean, you can always drop a message if you whatever, but let's be intentional with that. That'd be a good conversation. Yeah.
Or maybe you have like a hard client.
Yeah.
And you have a question about them and you want my take. Like, you know me, I'm not very like nitty gritty about like specific things. I'm not the most like brilliant trainer in the world, but I can tell you like what my take would be. Absolutely.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's actually.
And also I just want to say, I'm not negative to myself when I'm saying I'm not the most brilliant. That actually empowers me to say, I don't even compare. Like, when Luca and I have conversations, he talks circles around me. I have to say, hey, Luca, can you use a different language? Because I don't understand that. I'm actually empowered in knowing that that is not my strong suit. So I think it's okay, team. Like, you can own, you've done enough work, or hopefully you have, to own then what your best lanes are.
100%. I'm like that with film stuff. Like, I am not the technical, like if I show up on a set that's like a big set, I'm not the guy taking like ratios and numbers and like all these things. That's just not me. Like, I like working with people and I like moving a camera. You know, that's
create beautiful work because you own that. And that's what you do.
Lean into that. And it's easy for me to go like, oh, you know what? It's kind of embarrassing, but I don't know a lot of that stuff. But it's like, then I don't have to act like I do. And then they're giving me a job that I can't do because I'm not fucking qualified for it.
1,000%. Yeah.
So don't like act like you know recovery if you don't know recovery.
No. And if you keep seeing that as a theme that people want, go take some courses.
Yeah. In the meantime, send them to Kaisa to do some mobility.
I love that. Good one.
All right.
All right. Mike, that was all over the place, but I needed this. I feel like with everything going on, these are, we keep saying it, these are like my little therapy sessions. This brings a little light to my day, so thank you.
Happy to help.
Yeah. All right, team. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you have a question, if you are a trainer, you are a coach, you have any questions, please go to kaisafit.com/ask. All right. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you back on the Kaisa Show very soon.
Adios.